Hello folks, this is Mike with Deer Park Home and Shop. In today's video we're going to build these 3 boxes. Now these boxes are actually wall-mounted holders for disposable gloves. Now right now with the COVID-19 going on, this is a very timely project. And these gloves are in great demand. We're going to show you how to make a horizontal holder, a holder for 2 boxes of gloves, and a vertical model that's great for tight spaces. All 3 projects feature simple construction, and these are great projects for beginners, or a fun project and a quick project for a seasoned woodworker. They can be nailed together, they can be put together with a nail gun, with glue, what have you. So you can tailor the project to your skills. So if you would, please go below and ring the bell and click the like button. And we would love it if you would subscribe to our channel. So, without further ado, let's go make some sawdust. Our first project will be this holder. It's horizontally mounted on the wall. So let's take a quick look at the plan and the dimensions, and you can write them down. We will start with the back. And actually you can cut 2 of these at the same time, since the front will be the exact same size as the back. There are 2 side pieces and 1 bottom piece. And you can tell that I put these together from my scrap pile. But then again, this is a great scrap wood project. Now, as we've already mentioned, the top will be the same size as the bottom. And later in the video, I'll show you how to position, size, and machine the oval slot in the top. And remember, the oval top is optional. If you're going to be putting this in your shop or your garage and appearance doesn't matter, you can actually substitute 2 strips of plywood. Now if you do this, it's perfectly functional. You can use the box in it. However, you can't put loose gloves in it. It just won't work. So enough talk, let's get started. First I set up my rip fence to make a 6.5 inch cut. I'm using scrap, so I want to make sure I've got a straight edge to put against the fence. I'm cutting both the back and the front at the same time to make sure they match. Now I reset my fence to make a 3-inch cut for the bottom and side pieces, and I cut them all at the same time for the same reason. When all my rips are made, I make a scoring cut on one end of each board, and then I mark it so we won't get confused later. Now whether you're using a table saw miter gauge or a miter saw, be sure to set a stop so you can make exact matching repeating cuts on all your pieces. So cut all your pieces to the exact size using this method. Even if this is just a quick project, taking the extra time to make precision cuts will really pay off later when we go to assemble this thing. Before we start assembly, I'm going to cut the slot at the top. So I'm going to clamp the board in place. And since the top is 6.5 inches wide, I'm going to set my gauge for 3¼ inches, that's half, and mark a center line. Now reset your square for 5 7/8 inches. Of course that's half of the board length, which is 11 3/4. And we can mark the center lengthwise. Now I'm going to mark my circle centers, and to do that I'm going to back up 2 inches from the center line in each direction and make a mark. That'll make my spacing or my holes 4 inches apart. Now I'm going to use a punch and a hammer, and I'm going to indent the circle center. This will allow a reference point for my hole saw. Now I like to cut the board about halfway through with this hole saw and turn it over and cut the other side, and this really reduces tear out. Use a straight edge and connect the outside edge of your circles with a line. Now for purposes of this video, I'm going to use my stationary jigsaw to cut out the slot. You could also use your handheld power scroll saw for this step. It's hard to make an absolutely straight cut with a jigsaw, so cut just inside of your line. I'm using a hand sander to even up the line here. Take your time and try to get the slot as even as possible. Use a little sandpaper to clean up the edges. Now if you plan to make more of these boxes in the future, you could use this same procedure to make a router jig out of 3/4 inch lumber. Then you can make repeating cuts. Now I'm going to mate up the front and the back pieces, and I'm going to mark mounting hole locations just inside the arcs of the slot. Now unless you've got an extra long drill bit, this is best done now because of the difficulty of drilling the holes in an assembled holder. Remember, your holder is going to be over 3 inches thick, which is longer than many drill bits. I'm using a number 6 countersink bit here so that my wood screws will inset into the back. A dome head screw will work, but the glove box may hang up on them when you try to insert it in the holder, although this is not a big deal. Before you start putting your box together, be sure to do what we call a dry assembly and make sure that everything fits flush before you put fasteners in it. Start by clamping your side pieces to the back and make sure the edges are all flush with each other. Now I'm drilling starter holes with a drill bit slightly smaller than the diameter of the nail. You can also use a little wood glue for extra holding power, but that's really optional. Actually, these clamps will limit how many nails you can put in at one time, because frankly they'll be in the way. But after you get a couple of nails in each joint, you can remove the clamps and put in the rest. Since this is a beginner's project, I'm going to simply use number 3 finish nails for my fasteners. And when I build the double box later in the video, I'll use the nail gun. After you get your side piece attached, you can clamp the rest of the box together. Just make sure your joints are flush and tight, and then you can drive in your nails. Be sure to nail your side and bottom pieces together as shown here. Put all the nails in that you can and remove the clamps and put in the rest. I like to use a punch to make sure all the nails are slightly countersunk. Now if you're going to finish your box, be sure to paint the inside before you attach the front. Or you could attach the back with wood screws so that it can be removed later for finishing. Now you can clamp your front in place and secure it with nails, and after your sanding and finishing process you'll be ready to put it on the wall. Now here's a little tip. While drilling my pilot holes, I accidentally broke my drill bit and I didn't have a spare, so I simply chucked up one of my number 3 nails with only about a 1/2 inch protruding from the drill, and since the point is chiseled, it makes a dandy substitute. To mount the box, set it against your wall and use a level to get it even. Fortunately, I'm attaching this one to plywood, so I can just use 1-inch Phillips drywall screws and a 6-inch long bit. So if you've ever done this before, I know what you're thinking. Those screws are going to fall off the end of that bit, and you are absolutely right. But if you put just a little dab of white glue on the head, they'll stay put, and the glue will dry clear. And if you don't have a solid surface to attach this to, you'll probably need to use hollow wall anchors. The second holder will be for 2 boxes of gloves. I'm displaying the plan here, so you may want to jot down these board sizes as they are displayed. Now I usually use the 5mm gloves for general finishing, but I also keep the 7 or 9mm for heavier work and for handling solvents, so it's great for me to have a double box. Now most of the construction is going to be exactly the same as for the single box, so I'm going to cut all of my pieces to size off camera. But let me walk you through the layout of the back and front though. Since this box has a center divider, I'm going to mark its location. The back is 12 3/4 inches long, so I'm going to set my square for 6 inches. Now as you can see, we will end up with a 3/4 inch area marked off in the middle. Now I want to check the fit of my divider, and it's okay. So let's dry fit the rest of the box and make sure everything fits, and then we're going to move to the front. Set your square for 3 3/8 inch and mark a line on both the top and bottom ends of the board. Now reset the square for 5 3/4 inch and make a mark in the middle of the line on each end of the board. As before, we want to back up 2 inches in each direction and mark the circle centers. From here on out, the procedure is just the same. So punch your centers and cut your holes with a 2-inch hole saw, and when done, mark your lines across the tops of the circle arcs and cut out the excess with your jigsaw or your saber saw. Now you want to sand it until you get everything even. Remember how we assembled the single box in the first part of the video? Well, the procedure here is pretty much the same, except that in this case I'm going to use wood glue on our joints. Usually I take a small brush and carefully apply the glue to each side of the joint. But today I cheated and I applied it sparingly right out of the bottle to save time. On this box I'm using a brad nailer, and I'm going to use 1-inch brad nails to attach the front and the back. And on the ends I use 2-inch brad nails for extra support. Once you get your brads in, be sure to use a damp rag to wipe off your excess glue out of your joints. And again, if you're going to finish your holder, be sure to finish the inside parts before you put it together. Once the glue dries, you can putty your nail holes, sand, and paint. And that's all there is to it. The last project is a vertical holder that can be used in a tight place, like this one. Technique-wise, it's very similar to our first project, so I'm not going to reinvent the wheel here and bore you with a bunch of unnecessary explanations. After watching the first 2 examples, I'm sure you will understand the process by now. I do want to show you how to lay out the top though. Set your square to 3 3/8 inches and mark your center line, reset for 5 1/2 inches, and mark center lengthwise. Again, our circle centers are set back 2 inches in each direction from center, and of course then you can punch your centers and cut your holes and cut the slot. So here's my completed box. Notice that I've added some hooks at the bottom. Since this is an outside door, it's a great place to keep your keys, or you can hang your mask there or whatnot. Well, we've done what we set out to do. We've built all 3 boxes. Now you can paint or finish this however you wish and embellish it to suit. Now I made this box for my wife and she chose the color. And then she told me she needed to embellish it, which I think is just an excuse to go to the craft store. So anyway, if you've got questions or if you've got suggestions, be sure to send me a comment. And please go below and ring the bell and click the like button and subscribe to our channel. We've got more good things coming. Woodworking, we've got tool reviews, and DIY projects for home and shop. So folks, until next time, thanks for watching.